as I told earlier, I am repeating those two things again. 2 points you have to remember while you go for design of clutches. One is we have to if no criterion is given, no criteria is given in the question, you have to assume it as uniform wear theory, right? Uh, Uniform pressure theory is applicable only for new clutch, where the initial wear has not occurred yet. If it is a brand new vehicle, brand new clutch, right, there is no wear, then uniform pressure theory is applied. So obviously, whenever we need to apply uniform theory, that will be stated in the question itself, right? So unless nothing is specified, you have to go for only uniform wear theory. Second point is whether it is new pressure theory or uniform wear theory, the two things will change while doing the numericals. One is the mean diameter, right, of the mean diameter will change. The formula equation for mean diameter will change, and obviously the axial force also will change, and respective torque. Then next point which I want to stress is most of the times they may specify some force in the question, and they may actually tell like it is the force, axial force is limited to so and so Newton. So those cases, uh, the thing which you have to remember is if it is a limiting force, right, then it may not be the actual force. So obviously, from the torque which you have, whether it is given in question or whether you are finding the torque, right? If the power is given in the question, we can find the torque, right? And even we can find the torque, and from that we can even we can equate with the next another equation for the torque, right? Now the once the limiting force is given, then there may exist an actual force, right, based on which you have to design the clutch, right? So actual force can be found out from the torque equation itself, right? In those conditions, the number of friction surfaces will be given in question, right? In that case, because number of friction surfaces required to find out the torque, right? And from that we can find out the axial force. So these things you remember. And there are two category of problems in clutch. One is the normal problem or design of clutch. The second is they may use the spring in a clutch, right? Whose stiffness value will be given. So what I will do is I have solved one problem regarding that, and some students are having doubt also. So what I will do is after finishing this design of brakes after the clutch, I will go for design of springs. So once we complete design of springs, these problems under in the clutch will be able to understand. Fine. So now we'll go to numerical 4. It is stated as follows. In a multi-disc clutch has 3 discs on the driving shaft and 2 on the driven shaft. The inside diameter of the contact surface is 120 millimeter. The maximum pressure between the surface is limited to 0.1 Newton per mm square. Calculate the outside diameter of the contact surface for transmitting 25 kilowatt at 1575 rpm. Assume the wear condition, uniform wear condition at the coefficient of 0.3. Yes, so once they give the coefficient of friction, and even once they give the pressure, then the friction material table we need not refer, because the values which you require is directly stated in the question. So let us see the given data. So multiple plate glitch and 3 disc on the driving shaft they have told. So obviously I1 is equal to 3, right? And 2 on the driven shaft. So I2 is equal to 2. Then inner diameter of the surface, friction surface is 120. So D1 equal to 120. Pressure is limited to 0.1. So P is equal to 0.1. Capital N is equal to power is given as 25 kilowatt. And the speed RPM is given as 1575 RPM. Coefficient of friction is stated as mu is equal to 0.3, and they told us to assume uniform wear condition, right? So these are the given data, and what we have to find out is maximum pressure, assume, calculate the outside diameter. So capital D2 you have to find out. So first, whatever be the case, if we want any unknown values to be found out, we should know the torque first. So I am calculating the torque. So the torque, as I told you, are two equations. One is based on pressure and one is based on power. Right. So obviously we can take the power equation to find out the torque. So it is given by equation 19.3c. So mt is equal to 9550 into 1000 into n by n. So obviously by substituting n equal to 25 kilowatt and n small n rpm is equal to 1575, I got torque value as 151.58 into 10 power 3 Newton millimeter. Next, for in the other torque equation, right, we have I value also, right? So we need to find out what is the number of surfaces. So here, total number of friction surfaces I is equal to I1 plus I2 minus 1, which is a formula. So we have I1 value as 3, I2 value as 2. So obviously substitute I1 and I2, we get a number of friction surfaces is equal to 4. Now they have told assume uniform wear condition. So we need the axial force. So let us see, axial force equal to half into pi into d1 into d2 minus d1 as per equation 19.83. Substitute the value of pressure 0.1. d1 value we know 120, d2 is unknown, so keep it as d2. So we will get, simplifying, we will get an equation fa is equal to 18.85 into d2 minus 120. So cite it as equation number 1. Now we need to, for calculating torque, we need mean diameter. So as per uniform wear theory, mean diameter equal to half into d1 plus d2. So d1 is d2 is unknown, so I'm keep retaining d2 as d2. So 0.5 into d2 plus 120. Now use this parameters fa equal to equation 1 and equation 2 in torque transmission. So torque transmitted for I surfaces is given by mt is equal to half into mu into fa into dm into I. So substitute all those equation 1. The torque value we already know 151.58, I think, yes. 151.58 into 10 power 3 is equal to half into mu value is stated as 0.3 and fa is given by equation 1 18.85 into d2 minus 120 and mean diameter is given by equation 2 0.5 into d2 plus 120 into number of friction surface is equal to 4. So on simplifying this equation, we get a quadratic equation like this, and solving it, we get diameter of the outside diameter of surface d2 is equal to 202.9. So I approximate it as 203. So any doubt in this question? So it is a very direct problem for 8 marks. So I'll pass on to next numerical.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So numerical 5. Yes. So design a multi-plate clutch to transmit 25 kilowatt at 3000 rpm. The plates have friction surfaces of steel and phosphor bronze run on oil. Design the clutch for 25% overseas. The design problem they ask for 8 marks. So they are given the friction material. So obviously we need to go for the, let us see how to solve this numerical. So let us see the given data. So power is 25 kilowatt. So n equal to 25. Small n is equal to 3000 rpm. And design the clutch for 25% over. So overload I am writing as it is, overload equal to 25%. The friction materials are steel and phosphor bronze. So since they are given the friction material, we should go to the table 19.4 of friction materials to take the values. So if you refer 19.4 for steel and phosphor bronze, you will get, you can find mu is equal to 0.03 and pressure is equal to 1.0346 megapascal. So these values will be stated in the table 19.4 for steel and opposing material as phosphor bronze. So I'm taking those values. Then since it's a design problem, we need a second step design of shaft. We need the shaft material. So as usual, which I have told you earlier, choose shaft material C30 steel for which sigma y is 294.2 megapascal. At a factor of safety, you to choose it as 3. So from this, we can find design stress and shear stress. So design stress is 1/3 of yield stress, which is 98.06, and shear stress is half of the design stress. So sigma by 2, 49.03 megapascal. And even we need keyway factor for design of shaft. So I told you if it is not given, assume it as 0.05. So I am assuming eta is equal to 0.05. So these are the preliminary assumptions which in preliminary data which you need to go for the design problem. As usual, at step number 1 is to find out the torque transmitted from the power. So here the overload factor, whenever it is stated, you have to multiply that overload here in this torque transmitted equation. So it is 95,000 into n by n, 25 by 3000 into overload is 25% overload, means 125% it is total load, right? So it is 1.25. So don't, some students will make a mistake like 25% overload means they will put 0.25. So don't make that mistake. It is overload, means it is over and above the actual load. So it is actually 125% of the load. So it is actually equal to 1.25. So that is what you have to remember. So whenever overload is given, multiply with the torque equation. So I got torque value, torque to be transmitted as 99.479 into 10 power 3 Newton millimeter I got. Now step number 2 is, as you know, it is design of shaft. You have to find out the diameter of the shaft. So use the equation 19.49 cube root of 16 mt by pi into tau s into eta. So mt value we found out in step number 1, right? So it is into 10 power 3, no? So I just put it as whole number 99,479 and pi into 49.03 into 0.75. So cube root if you take, I am getting it as 23.97 millimeter. So go for standard diameter. If it is less than 50 mm, every 5 millimeter steps you will get a standard shaft. So after 20 it is 25. So nearest standard diameter available is 25 millimeter. Now go for mean diameter calculation, step number 3. So here they have not stated anything. So obviously we have to go for uniform wear assumption. So as per uniform wear assumption, mean diameter equal to d2 plus d1 by 2. And yes, here one thing, nothing is given, even outer diameter or inner diameter is not given. So when any diameters are not given, we can choose the diameter of the outer surface of the clutch or inner surface as like this. Assume the inner surface as four times the diameter of the shaft. So this is a new thing which you are coming across now. So this is equation 19.91. It will be stated in data book. So whenever diameters are not given, you are free to choose. Assume as inner diameter is equal to 4 times the standard diameter of the shaft. Standard diameter of the shaft. So don't put the diameter which you calculated. So here standard diameter is 25 mm. So 4 into 25 is 100 mm. I am assuming the inner diameter, right? And even the outer diameter can be assumed according to equation 19.90 as 1.25 to 1.8 times d1. So I'm assuming it as d2 is equal to 1.5 d1. So therefore d2 is equal to 1.5 into 100, 150 mm. So d1 and d2 we have got like this in this way, right? So from d1 and d2 find out the mean diameter, average of the two diameters. So we got 125 millimeter as the mean diameter. Next, to find the axial force. So uniform wear assumption, I take down the equation 3 and we know the pressure value as 1.0346 and both the diameter values are known. So substitute the values, we got axial force is equal to 8125.73 Newton. The last step is the dimensions of the clutch. For that we need the number of active surfaces I, right? So here take the torque equation. We know the axial force value, we know diameter, mean diameter value, we know the torque value also. So obviously the unknown value is the number of friction surfaces. So find out the number of friction surfaces from this equation. So I got 6.529. So then always I told you the nearest even number you have to take for number of surfaces. So 6.529. So you cannot take it as approximate as 7. You go for the next higher even number, that is 8. Therefore, the number of friction surfaces, active surface is equal to 8, from which we can find out the driving and driven disc. So number of disc on driver shaft is I by 2. So 8 by 2 is equal to 4. And number of discs on the driven shaft is equal to I by 2 plus 1. So 4 plus 1 equal to 5, total number of disk is equal to I1 plus I2, that is equal to 9. So the number of disk is equal to 9. And what is the thickness of the disk? I told you always assume it as anything between 1.5 to 3. So I'm assuming 1.5 millimeter as the thickness. Any doubt in this design problem?
No, sir.
Shall I pass on to next?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the last problem of today's session, right? This is actually this problem they asked from Bandari book. So I have taken that problem and solved according to our notations, right? So an automotive plate clutch consists of two pairs of contacting surfaces with asbestos friction lining. The maximum torque is 250 Newton meter. The coefficient of friction is 0.35. The inner and outer diameter of the friction lining are 175 millimeter and 250 millimeter respectively. The clamping force is provided by 9 springs, each compressed by 5 millimeter to give a force of 800 Newton when the clutch is new. So three things you have to calculate. Number one, what is the factor of safety with respect to slippage when the clutch is brand new? Second, what is the factor of safety with respect to slippage after the initial wear has occurred? And how much wear of the friction lining can take place before the clutch will slip? Yes, so this is a very nice, beautiful problem because nothing with to do with design, right? Let's see. So we'll see the given data. Torque is equal to 250 Newton meter, so convert to Newton millimeter, and the coefficient of friction mu is equal to 0.35. They are given. Then inner and outer diameter D1 is 175, D2 is 250 mm given. Number of springs is equal to 9. Initial compression delta is equal to 5. Yes, this notation you remember, but after we finish design of springs, you will be acquainted with these notations. So initial compression is 5 millimeter, and axial force is equal to, they are told for initial compression of 5 millimeter will give a force of 800 Newton by each spring. So obviously the total force is equal to 9 springs we have, and each spring is giving 800 Newton force. Therefore, axial force is equal to 9 into 800 is equal to 7200 Newton. Any doubt with given data? Fine. Now, what is the first one they are asking? What is the factor of safety with respect to slippage when the clutch is brand new? Okay. Now, when the clutch is brand new, I told you have to assume uniform pressure theory. So that is what the first line which I wrote. When the clutch is new, assume uniform pressure theory. Now, how to find out factor of safety? Factor of safety will be between either stress, or here in this case it is between the torque, because that is a transmitting thing, right? So we see, so when the clutch is new, assume uniform pressure, and two pairs of contacting surfaces. So for two pairs, the torque is given as 250. So for single pair, it will be around 125 Newton meter as the torque. So therefore, torque transmitted for single pair of surface is 250 by 2. So I am choosing it as 125 into 10 power 3 Newton millimeter. Right. Now for uniform pressure condition, this is the mean diameter formula. So here the diameters are given. Therefore, mean diameter equal to 214.71 mm. Now torque transmitted is equal to mt is equal to half into mu into Fa into dm into I. Right. So here I is equal to, for one pair, 1. So half into all those parameters, if you substitute, I am getting torque value equal to 270.53. Therefore, factor of safety is given by actual torque transmitted divided by torque transmitted for one pair of, sorry, uh, by one surface. So I'm getting it as a 270.53 divided by 125. I got the factor of safety as 2.16. Any doubt? You have to ask me why this is 250 and again you are getting 270 and 125, right? Why I divided by 2? Because in question they are given maximum torque is 250, right? So obviously maximum torque is for two pairs of contacting surfaces. So for one pair it is half of that. So 125 I have taken, and for same one pair of clutch, what is the torque transmitted? Actual torque transmitted I am taking, right? So for actual torque it is coming to 270. Therefore factor of safety is actual torque divided by the maximum torque. So 270.53 divided by 125, I got it as 2.16. Now next is factor of safety with respect to slippage after initial wear has occurred. So once they say the initial wear has occurred, the theory which you have to assume is uniform wear theory. So that is what I have stated here. When initial wear has occurred, uniform wear theory is applicable. Now, uh, regarding the axial force, we will say that there is no change in the spring force even after the initial wear. Right. So I will keep the axial force as same value. Now, according to uniform wear theory, mean diameter is same 212.50 millimeter. That is d1 plus d2 by 2. I got the mean diameter 212.50 millimeter. Now the torque transmitted, actual torque transmitted for one friction pair of contact surface, right, is equal to half into mu into FA value. I am retaining it as 7200. Mean diameter 212.5 I found out now. I equal to 1. So we got the actual torque as 267.75 Newton meter. Now factor of safety is equal to actual torque divided by maximum torque. So 267.75 by 125, I got it as 2.14. So this is the factor of safety after initial wear. Now third thing which you have to find out is what is the wear of friction lining. So obviously wear of friction lining is how much millimeter of the friction lining has worn out, right, before the slippage. So when so here some concept you have to apply. The clutch will slip, right, when the spring force is no longer in a position to transmit the engine torque. Right, now the spring force to transmit engine torque is 125 Newton meter is given by. So what we have to find out, what is the actual axial force for this 125 Newton meter. So substitute in this equation, mt equal to half into Fa mu into dm into I. So the unknown parameter which you have to calculate here is axial force for transmitting 125 Newton meter. So I'm converting into millimeter, 125 into 10 power 3. Equate it, I found out 3361.34 Newton is the axial force which you have to calculate, which you have to found, which is required to which is holding the springs in position. Now, since there are 9 springs, I am dividing, each spring will have a force of 3361 divided by 9. So 373.48 Newton is a spring force per spring, force per spring. So what does this mean? Whenever the force per spring, right, when it comes less than 373.48, that spring will slip, the clutch will slip. So 9 springs are holding the clutch in position, right? So each spring's contribution of force is 373.48 Newton. So when any of these springs, the force because of wear, right? If the spring force decreases less than 373.48, then the clutch will slip. That is what this point means. Now, this is not our concern. Our concern is what is the wear of the friction lining. So let us say x be the parameter, be the wear of friction lining for this condition. Now compression of the spring is equal to initial compression minus the worn out, that is x, right? So that is the actual compression of the spring. So initial compression they told it is 5 minus, we don't know how much it has worn out. So x is the wear, right? Now stiffness is given by F by delta, because we know that in finite element analysis, we would have calculated the spring force, which is equal to K into delta, or where K is stiffness, right? So this K is equal to F by delta. So F is 373.48 divided by delta is 5 minus X. Now, to solve this, we need actually K, what is the stiffness? So that can be found out from the initial compression. So they told initial compression is 5 mm to give a force of 800 Newton per spring, right? Therefore stiffness is equal to force by delta. Force is 800 divided by delta is phi, we got the stiffness as 160 160 Newton per meter. 160 Newton per meter is the stiffness, right? Newton per mm, I think. Yes, Newton per mm. Yes, because here the phi is in mm, so it is in Newton per mm. Now, from this stiffness K, we can find out what is x. Therefore, 160 is equal to 373.48 divided by 5 minus x. From this, x is equal to 2.66 mm. That is, the wear of friction lining is equal to 2.66 millimeters. So, what does this mean? When the wear of the friction lining is more than 2.66 millimeter, the spring force will be less than 373.48 and slippage will occur. This is what the conclusion of this problem.